12,000 in attendance at PNC Arena and certainly made their presence felt. You can see the numbers here. 5-2 the final. Look at the shots. 38-24. Look at the hits. 53-47. Are you kidding me? Physical from these two teams. Who would have thought? In the end, a highly entertaining Game 1. And as we mentioned, the Canes taking Game 1 in 5-2 fashion. Stu, you heard from Rod Brindamore right there. That's what it should look like. That's what it should feel like. What do you think it felt like? I mean, we know what it felt like watching this game. What do you think it felt like for those players playing down in Raleigh? You play this entire weird season, and then you get a little bit of normalcy tonight. Look at the towels. Look how packed they are. What does that feel like from a player's perspective?
Well, I'll tell you, and these Canes fans, they know playoff hockey. They know the importance of, how important a block shot can be, or drawing a penalty, or just being able to make a clear on a penalty killing situation. They understand the nuanced parts of the game. So when you're out there and you're actually providing that kind of a contribution for your club, and you get affirmed by it, affirmed for it rather, by that great crowd of Caniacs inside PNC Arena, it just kind of spurs you on to greater heights. I mean, Weeksy, I'm sure you felt this inside the net during playoff hockey, but it adds 10, 15, maybe as much as 20% to what you're doing. It just gets you kind of hovering off the deck by about a foot. You don't even feel like you're touching home ice.
Exactly, you're floating. And, I know what it's like to play down there when those fans are at their best. They're some of the best fans in all of sports, especially come postseason. It's a privilege to play for them, rather. But even in this series, the fans are going to be a huge factor. Why? You saw how great they are at PNC. We also know how equally great they are, Stu, as you know, at Bridgestone Arena. And I got to tell you something right now. Twitter is ablaze right now for the positive reason that the NHL fans are back in a lot of the buildings here in the United States. The highest capacity is down there at PNC Arena. And I got to tell you, the world is watching. The real collective audience that we have for NHL fans around the world saw that. And I was texting with a couple players, and the voice of the Canes, Trip Tracy, everybody said it felt like the roof was going to blow off the building. It's a privilege to play in front of that, I can tell you. And that's great to see. And we'll see more of it in the postseason, in this series and some other series here in the U.S. It's great.
It sounded like Caniac fans were out there early this morning tailgating like they should down there in Raleigh. So congrats to them. Congrats to Alex Nedeljkovic.
Big
Picks
time.
up his first career playoff win in his very first playoff start. What's that like? You've done it. What is that first playoff start like, and what does that feel like compared to your first regular season start? Is it different?
It was different. I'm getting goosebumps who just teeing me up that way. Nedeljkovic had a great season. All their goalies have played great, really. Him, Reimer, and of course, my man Peter Mrazek. Everybody's been outstanding there. But for Nedeljkovic getting his first one, keep in mind, this is a guy that's played well on every big stage. He's been a clutch performer. He won an AHL Calder Cup down in Charlotte at AHL Charlotte as well. And that first start, everything comes into be. I got to tell you, when you're playing bubble hockey, table hockey, mini sticks, tournaments, the bus in the minors, everything makes sense when you finally get to play in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's what you grew up watching. That's what you grew up dreaming of and aspiring towards and hoping and being inspired by. And having that opportunity to finally make it happen, that all makes sense when you play in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
So, Stu, you have a guy making his NHL playoff debut, and then you have a guy like Jordan Staal, who's been there for quite some time. He was part of that cup back in 2006, and here he is having a huge impact in 2021 with a 2-goal performance in this Game 1. What do you make of the way he played tonight?
Well, it's probably one of the most overused adages in our game today. But your big guys, your best players, have to lead and have to lead by example. Tonight, he appeared to have, just an incredible amount of. The execution rate was just really, really phenomenal. You saw with that last goal on Saros. He gets to leaning. He's kind of fading away from the net. I think Saros is starting to cheat off that near side post, not believing that Stahl's going to be able to actually strike on the near side, and that's exactly what he does. Fabulous play to find the daylight near side up and over the shoulder of UC Saros, who had himself a near perfect night. It's hard to fault Saros for any of the goals that drop behind him, with the exception of that one again. But it's Stahl, the execution, that's able to find the daylight on that near side, get it up and over his shoulder. And that's the kind of performance a group like Carolina can really rally around. Talented bunch, They've got some bright young rising or even established stars. But when a veteran guy like Stahl can kind of set the bar, it just sends the message to the rest of the group. Gentlemen, this is the way. Everybody fall in line.
Message sent, message received. Carolina with the 5-2 win over Nashville in game number 1. Game 2 set for Wednesday night at 8 o'clock.